Hey there, savvy spenders and future millionaires. Today is May 29th, 2025, and if you're feeling that pinch at checkout or seeing your mortgage rates stuck sky high, stick around, because in the next 15 minutes, we're gonna unpack exactly why inflation's not cooling as much as we hoped, and how tariffs and central bank chess games are messing with your bottom line. From court battles over tariffs to the hidden global tug of war for resources, we'll reveal why your grocery cart is more expensive and what's coming next. Let's dive in. All right, let's start with the headline of the week. President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. Remember those? In April, he threw down 10% tariffs on general goods, 25% on imports from Canada and Mexico, and up to a whopping 145% on Chinese items. These tariffs were supposed to fix trade imbalances and tackle national security. Think fentanyl trafficking. But the real-world fallout? Courtroom drama. Just yesterday, the U.S. Court of International Trade said, "Not so fast," ruling the president overstepped his authority under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Yet in a blink, the appeals court said, tariffs stay, at least for now. So businesses, still stuck in tariff limbo. And this isn't just a DC squabble, it's a $1 trillion squeeze. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says these tariffs are hammering over $1.2 trillion worth of goods, everything from that smartphone in your hand to the fridge in your kitchen. Automakers in Detroit, they're paying an extra $800 million this quarter alone because Mexican auto parts are 25% pricier. Farmers in California, citrus exports to China fell 15%. Those sweet oranges are stuck at home, driving prices down for them, but raising them for you at the store. And electronics? Best Buy's earnings reveal that average laptop prices have jumped 12% since March. Let's look at the bigger picture. The economy shrank by 0.2% in Q1, the first contraction in 3 years. That's not a typo. We're talking lost sales, supply chain headaches, and canceled orders. For perspective, the last big shrink was during the COVID lockdowns, but this time, it's not a virus, it's trade policy, and it's costing American businesses $34 billion and counting. So, what does this all mean at checkout? Let's break it down. The headline inflation rate in April was 2.3%, down from that eye-popping 9% peak in 2022. But the real story? The essentials are still climbing. Food at home, up 3.8%. Shelter costs, up 5.1%. Energy bills, up 2.5%. That's why your wallet still feels light, even though headlines say inflation's cooling. And economists are warning, these tariffs? They're like throwing gasoline on a smoldering fire. Goldman Sachs says they could push inflation up by another 0.4 percentage points in the next year. Let's put that in everyday terms. A washing machine that cost $700 last year, now $770. A smartphone, from $1,000 to $1,120. For a median income family earning $74,000, that's $1,200, $1,800 more a year, just to keep the lights on and food on the table. Let's switch gears. The Fed. Chairman Jerome Powell is feeling the heat from President Trump to slash rates and give the economy a sugar rush. But the Fed? It's staying cool. Rates are still locked at 4.25% to 4.5%, the highest since the 2000s housing boom. Why? Because Powell says, we're watching the data, not the headlines. And with these tariffs possibly reigniting inflation, cutting rates now might just fan the flames. Now let's hop across the globe, because inflation's a worldwide beast. India? The Reserve Bank of India says inflation will drop below 4% thanks to monsoon rains. More rain means more rice, wheat, and cheaper food. Tokyo? Inflation hit 3.6%, the highest in 2 years. Imported food costs and weak yen? Ouch! UK renters? They're being squeezed hardest. Rents are up 7%. That's double the general inflation. Back here at home, mortgage rates are stuck at 6.8% for 30-year loans, highest in 12 years. That's making the dream of home ownership harder to reach for millions. In fact, mortgage payments now eat up 35% of median incomes, the worst affordability since 2013. If you're house hunting, better bring some serious cash, or maybe patience. Businesses aren't immune. In interviews this week, auto dealerships, foot traffic's down 15%. People just can't stomach the higher prices. Restaurants in New York, food costs up 5% since January alone. From Main Street to Wall Street, everyone's feeling the squeeze. And if tariffs stay put, buckle up. These stories are just the beginning. So what's next? Let's decode the future. If tariffs stay, inflation could push back above 3% by early 2026. If courts toss them out, we might drift down to the Fed's 2% target. Markets are betting there's only a 35% chance of a rate cut by September, down from 55% before the tariff headlines. The message? The Fed's playing it safe. So here's the bottom line. From your grocery store to your landlord, the aftershocks of these tariff wars and the Fed's next move are already here. For families, it's about budgeting smart and staying informed. For businesses, it's finding new suppliers and trimming fat where you can. And for you, hit that subscribe button, because we'll keep decoding these wild economic rides, making sure you're always one step ahead. Subscribe for weekly deep dives on money, policy, and your wallet.